Good evening, everyone. We are live. My name is April Tribe Juke, and I am here with the most delightful Crystal Waltman, if I can spell tonight. Thank you, everybody, for popping in here. And we have some great, exciting announcements that we want to share with all of you. And you can see she's got a friend popping up and up in her background. Her daughter looks great. Awesome. Love it. Thanks, everybody, for showing up here live. Wow, all of a sudden it just kind of jumped up there. That's great. So share with us where you're from. I'm down here in the Austin area near Kyle, Texas. And Crystal, she's clear out there in the South Desert. Where are you broadcasting from tonight?
Hi, April. Thanks for having me. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. And
awesome.
Let me just share this on my feed.
She's going to share this around. That is a great thing to do. And any of you who are here tonight, please share with everybody. We'd love to see. I love it. Lori's here from South Carolina. Way to go, Lori. Thank you for being so, I would say, consistent, amazing, a wonderful fan. Thank you for giving such great support to so many here tonight. You can see on the banner, the ticker running underneath us is that Crystal is now a global award winner for her book, Quitting to Win. Yes. And this is really an exciting time. She's had lots of different parties going on. I think all of October has been a party. And to make a quick announcement, which we'll also share again at the end, she has her audiobook is now ready. Well, soon. The launch is coming up really quickly. She got word from ACX that things are looking great and all the availabilities to be selling should be very soon. So she's going to be launching it. So that'll be a really great listen for anyone who is busy, who can't pick up the book, to give that opportunity when you're doing lots of other things to listen into her story. So this is an exciting time. Hello, Cecilia. Thanks so much for popping in here. Another global award winner, Cecilia. Great. Yep. I love to see all these people coming by and giving great support. This is awesome. So we have shared Crystal's story in July a little bit, but we want to extend it out now a little bit more because we've got a broader audience, and so they might not know everything about you. So, Crystal, do you want to share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll really jump in tonight about a few things in my reading, since I finally had a little bit of time, and we'll share some of that later on this evening.
Well, thanks, April. My name is Crystal Waltman. I am an athlete, author, speaker, and coach. And I'm helping women close the gap between dreaming and doing. And I published my book and it won an award. And I'm just so grateful for that award because out of all the awards that I've won, from a national championship softball team to figure competitions to being on stage, and this award, I just never thought myself smart enough that I could win an award with my words. So this one really means the most to me, and I'm just so happy that it'll be able to reach more people. And I share it's basically a story of redemption. It's a story about sports, spine surgery, and sobriety, and how I was caught in the insanity of drinking, and everything around me was put together nicely. But I was just broken inside, disconnected, spiritually disconnected, and how I surrendered and got out of that. And we do recover. And the book is a way of recovering out loud. So I know that, a lot of people who go through the STEP program hold their anonymity, and that's fine. But then, it doesn't help the people that are out there that are sober curious or wondering, how in the last 5 years. So after I got sober, I was still limited by myself. I was still hacked by my self-limiting beliefs of I am not enough. So how did I get past that bridge? Taking out the alcohol is just but a symptom of the problem. Once you stop your substance, whether it be, sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling, porn, any of those things, then you really have to deal with the backpack of carrying of whatever that you're carrying, the shame and guilt of the past. So taking out the substance is just the first step. Then you have to deal with all the stuff. And then how do you become free, to live your best life like I'm doing now? And it's just, I can't believe how many years I kept myself small. I kept myself in the shadow, and I kept myself, but just behind everybody, because I never thought I was enough, or, to go out on my own. So it's been a real journey this last 5 years, and it's just every day I just can't believe that, all the good things that are happening. So for that, I'm blessed and grateful today.
Excellent. I'm so glad that you said those words about being blessed and grateful, because the month theme for all of us is counting our blessings. And it sounded like you named off quite a bit on that list of how many things you are thankful for and what you count your blessings of, because that it is really true. When you find whatever the symptom is, right? And you talked about alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever it is, when we solve that, move it aside, get through, we still have to look at the ugly. We still have to go in and go, oh no, really? I still have to work on that. Right. And he said the shame and the guilt. Yeah, we still have to do this. I love it. Sandra, she says, I am so proud of you, Crystal. Wow. And I think that is awesome. Cecilia says it's so important to acknowledge that we often have to feel that numb, right? The depression through addiction. And addiction can be anything that it can be Facebook. I mean, it can be anything. Whatever it is that we're numbing ourselves, hiding ourselves away from, we really got to face it. And you have a really great comparison here. And just in the title of the book, right? Quitting to Win. We think about winners, champs. Well, they don't quit. And you quit the alcohol. You quit that feeling of not being enough because you had to overcome something there. So I have a question for you, and it comes from the page of your book. This is in page 51, where she says, alcoholism is a thinking problem, not a drinking problem. You want to expand on that a little bit more?
I think that it started at the young age of 14 when I made the varsity softball team. And socially, I just had anxiety because I was hanging out with the 18-year-olds and I didn't have the emotional intelligence, to be in that situation, and I wasn't prepared for it. So I, needed something to take the edge off, and we took on drinking just like we did our sport. We just went at it like a sport as well. And, I have that alcoholic gene. Not everybody has it. Some people are fine, but I started blacking out, and I just have so many blank spaces, and, carried shame and guilt the next day. And, some people don't have that problem. And for those of people that can drink healthily, and be healthy with it, I think that's great. But I'm just not one of those people. And I tried for so many years. I'd switch to just wine or just clear drinks, or, just this, or just take Monday and Tuesday off. Or don't start till after 3. I was just insane about it, but it was always like, when am I going to have my next drink? So talking about the symptoms of the problem, I think it was just maybe a social anxiety early on that never got addressed. And because I was a high performer on the field, it just, I don't know, it's just something that spiraled. And going forward, I always thought, I need something to take the drink off. So therefore I was always drinking prior to going out socializing. And then that really just put up a barrier of a mask of really getting to know people. I didn't really have that many good female relationships, and it wasn't in depth, and after getting pregnant and having my daughter, I just never metabolized alcohol the same, and my blank spaces became more, and shame and guilt became heavier, and I had to surrender. I had to quit. And it wasn't something I thought I would lose my friends, my family. I don't know. I had to put everything on the line to quit, because I tried every Monday to quit. And I'm like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. Every Monday, week after week after week, year after year after year. And I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Wow. When you come to that realization of you just can't anymore, what was your next step? What happened?
Yeah, my next step was to surrender and find somebody who I knew one lady that was sober, and she was one of my neighbors, and she was this woman that I looked up to. She was always very well put together, and she didn't drink. And I knew everybody that drank on my street because I'd push the stroller around with, alcohol in the tumbler. And I asked her, I said, how'd you stop drinking? And she said, oh, well, come with me on Sunday to my house. So I went with her Sunday to her house thinking we were going out to dinner. And then she drove to downtown Paradise Valley, and I thought we were going to go to a restaurant. And then she pulled into this beautiful church and around to the church, to the back meeting rooms. And then that was my first meeting that I went to. So
wow, wait a minute. So you didn't know you were actually going to a meeting? What was the conversation like on the drive down to Paradise Valley? What did you talk about? The weather?
Very superficial, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know I was going to, and I was blown away when we got there. Well, she knew everybody because she has been a pillar in the community, and people were hugging and they were laughing and everybody like put together. And I'm like, what? Why are these people so happy? I was still carrying shame and guilt from my last hangover. And then as I sat in the rooms and I just listened, I heard my story, and the first speaker that spoke that night was really captivating. And I was just like, if he can do it, I can do it. And that was it for me.
Yeah.
But not without a lot of pain that first year. I mean, getting sober, like I said, stopping the drink, then you really have to deal with all your issues. And
in the issue process, I'll just say that, right? Because it's part of that healing. When we have our issues and challenges, how did it go? I know you have friends. I know you have sponsors. But still, there's moments of you are one-to-one with your shame and with your guilt. You get to look at it right there. Obviously, you made these choices and you overcame. But what was that like right there in that moment? What was it like for you?
Yeah, so one of the steps in the step process is to write amends and make amends to people. And the person that you have to write on the list is yourself first. So you have to forgive yourself first. And that's always the person that you leave off the list. When you're first thinking about it, I got to, make amends to this person and that person. And then when you go over it with your spiritual advisor, and then she's like, okay, well, you forgot to put yourself on that list. So that was a real eye opener. And, going through the steps and inventory was like the most healing thing that I've ever done.
Wow. The power of recognizing it. It does. Cecile says it takes so much strength. If he can do it, I can do it. Lori says, this is a toughie. Kathy says, I admire your courage and desire how you had more for yourself. And I understand that concept of putting your name on the list first and looking at it, because there is that moment where it's just all raw and it's right there. And you face the mirror, you face yourself, you face all of it. And to say that, look, I'm sorry, that's the most fearful and freeing time of your life.
It is.
It's a magical, intense moment that when you punch through and suddenly you're on the other side, you doubted that side was ever there, that place could ever possibly exist, even though you have a friend in the community, a pillar of just such happiness that's there, that's sponsoring, that's helping you. You see her on that side, but you're like, that's good for y'all. It's just not really ever going to happen for me. And wow, when you punch through on that other side, it is a place that when you landed there, what happened next?
Well, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you watch Housewives, but Housewives of Orange County has this character on there who is now sober, and watching that play out in the last 3 episodes was almost like a gut punch of the uncomfortableness, because she's going through everything on TV out loud that you really go through in your first year. It's like, am I going to lose my friends? Am I going to lose my husband? Am I going to lose my kids? Am I going to lose like that all? And it's like, oh, and then people will say things like, oh, I liked you better drinking, or you were more fun drinking, or you were more, this. And it's like, yeah, but that left me broken inside. And it left me not a good mother. And so no matter what, at the risk of losing friends, right? Friends, those people you think are friends, and you just have to go through it. But I am recovering out loud. And the people that have reached out to me and that reach out to me daily through private messenger or, whatever on some platform, and just tell me, thank you, Crystal, you've allowed me to start the healing process, or you brought this up, or you've given me the strength, you can do it. You can recover. Even though I was born with the gene, I can get a daily reprieve from it. It is not something that ever goes away. And I had a few relapses in there, thinking that I healed myself after being sober over a year. And you're like, I got this. I've been sober for so long. It's going to be different this time. And it's not. When you go back to drinking again, you go right back to that desperate spot that you were at when you stopped. And it took me like 2 weeks before I was, surrendering again. So there are people around you that say like, well, can't you just give it up for a little bit? Can't you just go dry out? And it's okay, because they don't have that gene. So they don't understand the feeling, and their body doesn't have that allergy. So it's interesting to watch this play out on TV, and I'm calling you out, Andy Cohen. I want to pitch Sober Housewives of Scottsdale. So
there you go. You heard it here first, everybody. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It is going to happen.
I mean, I think that our society is craving not just that on TV. It's like that. What I wanted, my whole message is to raise the awareness and de-romanticize alcohol. Like it's not romantic. People are dying every day. It's the third leading cause of lifestyle choice disease. Obesity just took number 1. Tobacco is number 2. And alcoholism is number 3. It's killing people by lifestyle choice disease. And you can make a difference, by your daily choices. So that's part of the mission is, de-romanticizing it. And like, I don't want to, at first, I didn't think I was alcoholic, because my vision of what an alcoholic looked like somebody under a bridge with a brown bag. And that wasn't my life. And so I'm like, no, that's not me, but it is. This is me, and I've met a couple other great people. I did a podcast the other day with Brandon Lee, and he is also recovering out loud. And we were both just speaking the same languages. And so thank you for giving me a platform, April, to recover out loud and carry the message of hope to all those who are still suffering from alcoholism and addiction. We can, and we do recover. Right.
I have to say, so this is an interesting side of on my side of the story, which you kind of commented on. So in my first husband, he was an alcoholic, addicted to different kinds of drugs and all of that to hide the shame and the pain that he was suffering from, which then led into different types of abuse. And as the one who was sober in the relationship, looking at this, I'm going on the logic. I'm like, can't you see what's happening? No. Because no. And in my, immature mind, and I just thought, well, with enough love, things can pull through, and with enough of this, it can happen. And that's part of the support. But I can't save anyone until they decide themselves. And he still hasn't quite yet decided that. So we've left that, and we still pray and hope that he can one day solve and resolve that, because I feel like we're all worthy of that love and forgiveness for sure. And we just had to step aside. But it is interesting to notice that when, we're like on the opposite side of this piece, but healing still had to occur for both. And I know it can. And I think it is really possible. So we've got a lot of people throwing some comments at her. So I wanted to put these up on the screen, which is what you had just talked about. De-romanticizing alcohol. Yes, that is from Cecilia. And I like this, what Adrienne Graves, she says, Crystal, your vulnerability coupled with April's self-translation is stunning. Thank you for sharing some of your story. Crystal's story goes in deep, and I love the focus. She has a lot of things that, even though she's out loud and saying it, she also has this concept of helping to do the prevention. You heard her age of when this all started. This wasn't in college where this started. Mm-mm. Crystal, how old were you when all of this started?
It all started at 14 in freshman year in high school. And it continued through college, with a vengeance, and just, just start snowballing worse, then you add drugs into it, and it just, drugs and alcohol together, there's a joke, like, if you just stick to alcohol, you can drink your whole life, but you throw in the drugs and the alcohol, you either get to jail or the hospital quicker. And I'm just laughing. It's a nervous laugh. It's a serious topic. But you brought up something about the people on the other side of it, and I wanted to address that because everybody's affected by alcoholism about 1 degree away, whether it be a parent, child, uncle, aunt. So there are groups out there. And like you were saying, when you were young and you had somebody in your family that you loved, there are groups out there for people whose loved ones have alcohol and addiction problems, and you can learn how to set boundaries and not be an enabler. And it starts with the 3 C's, like, you didn't cause it, you can't cure it, and you can't control it. So how do you find your emotional sobriety and serenity when a loved one of yours cannot, is in their addiction, and that's somebody that you're not going to turn your back on? So there is help out there for, people of loved ones also. And then now, I even had to join those groups after the fact of getting sober, because now how do I deal with people who still drink, right? Because just because I get sober doesn't mean everybody in my life did. So, and those are still family people and, people really close to me. Getting sober when your spouse doesn't, there's a challenge there, and it's a daily thing. They just passed the marijuana law, I heard, in Arizona, which I can't believe it. But, that is the new addiction also. I've had people reach out to me and say, my millennial is, going to rehab for pot or this and this and that. And that's past my time, but that seems to be the new thing that's going on. And it's just not romantic, all these drugs that seem to ease everybody's pain and take the edge off. It's really the spiritual connection. But, alcohol brought me to my knees, and the program brought me to God. So either way, however I got here, I'm here now. And, everybody's on their own path and journey.
That's right. And in their own path and journey, there are many of us along the sidelines cheering and supporting and hoping that they know and feel that, because even though it's an individual journey and the steps have to be claimed yourself, that doesn't mean you have to be alone doing it.
Right.
And that is something beautiful that I think you pull out in your book as well. So please know that you're not alone with this. And I think all of these reasons are why Crystal won this global award. And the words there are there to help and support. Again, the prevention, right? Celebrate. That is actually the sign for celebration. So you did it right. It really is. That's the sign for celebration. Woo! Congratulations, celebration, everything. It's just fantastic. Cecilia says that you can save yourself and deserve healing and wholeness. So true. When you have the right path, direction, and when you're connected to something a little bit higher, it can work because you have something to fall back on. And I think it's interesting that when we get going on stuff, and I'll say as those athletes and high performers like myself, like you, we get to a point where like, oh, we've got this again. We've got it. Let's test the waters.
Yeah.
Yeah. We learn fast. Usually we'll learn on that second time, like, oh, maybe I don't got it. Maybe I really just need to keep going the way I was going and things will be better. Excellent.
Yeah, and I just go back to fundamentals of keeping it simple and keeping my side of the street clean and doing the right thing each and every day. If I start to get like in my head, it's like, oh, just dial it back. Let's worry about today. That's all you can do is take care of today.
That's right. Only take care of today. Very, very good. Stephanie, you are awesome. It says you're keeping it real. You're awesome, Crystal. Thank you so much for being you. Yes, Lori, you have done some amazing work, Crystal. So it's very awesome. I agree. This is fantastic. Some tough stuff here. You know, both my brothers have been addicts and one's no longer with us. And unfortunately that happens, and it's tough because it feels like a light was snuffed a little early. But boy, I got serious quick. But there's still time to be grateful, thankful, and change can still happen because, like Kathy says, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
But the disease of that wants you to isolate. Like the first thing that I want to do is isolate. I want to be in bed. I want to turn my phone off. I don't want to talk to anybody. And that is where I start to get in my danger. And so I have the tools now to reach out and call people, go through my process and, clean it up quickly before it, it gets in your head and just goes over and over again. And so we are not alone, but that's what the disease wants you to think, that you're alone, but you are not.
Right. You are not. We are here. And hopefully this evening has maybe shared and supported with someone that they can reach and connect with you through your book, through now the audiobook again, which is coming out this next launch. Are we launching in November, December? When's this launch, Crystal?
Okay, so the pre-launch is going to be November 18th online. And then the official launch will be November 20th. And I partnered with Electric Bikes of Scottsdale. And we're going to rent out all the bikes. And if you rent a bike for 4 hours, we're going on a 2-hour bike ride, you get a free audiobook. And then following that will be lunch and a book signing at Strata Lifestyle Kitchen. So
wow.
If you can't make it for the bike ride, like don't worry about your bike skills if you want to come. So I'm telling all my friends, the way I'm positioning this is it's the Friday before Thanksgiving, and then it's go time after that. So call in on November 20th, a mental health day, and join me on the trail along the green belt. And we're just going to have fun, friends, fresh air, and get out there and, just have some emotional sobriety and a good time. So if you can't make it to the bike, then you can come to the book signing, and audiobooks will be available to download on November 20th.
Excellent. Great information, everybody. And we'll have some of those information and put downs right underneath afterwards. So Crystal, send me whatever you have and we will connect it here tonight. We have about 2 minutes before we finish up. So what in this Count Your Money Blessings month of November would you like to leave us with this evening?
Probably all the friends that I've created through this book and all the relationships and the women that have reached out to me and that are just there. It's just that community that I didn't have as a young woman, 20 to 30. I thought I had friends, but it's not the same, and I never thought I deserved good relationships, and now I have them. But really raising awareness that addiction and alcoholism is still killing people every day. And going through the holiday times, most people will be faced with it, either themselves or their family members. And so you can stop the cycle. You can break the cycle. And there is help. So just reach out to anybody and get help.
Right.
and learn how to keep your emotional sobriety during the holidays.
Right. The holidays are a time to celebrate. It's a time to connect. So remember the connection and to draw people in as much as possible so that they're not alone. And if you notice someone is alone, pull them in, because it might just be that hour to 2 hours and that time together that might help them think that felt better than being here alone. And, all those are great, wonderful blessings. Sandra says, awesome. Thanks, Crystal, putting down there. It's November 20th will be the audiobook launch. We love you. We're beside you all the way. Very, very cool. A lot of people think that this bike ride is awesome. Really, really cool. Thanks so much, Finis. It's awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming and joining. And again, Crystal, her book, Quitting to Win, is available. It's a global award winner. And soon on November 20th, we'll have the audio book launch. So that's going to be an exciting time as well. Thank you, everybody. And go out there, support somebody. Don't leave anyone alone. Love you guys. We'll see ya.